Hey guys, welcome back for a brand new box office prediction video. First up, Fantasy Movie League recaps. I didn't do too bad, but I most certainly didn't do as well as the sole top scorer we had in the league this time around. That top position this time went to Infinite Dreams Cineplex. Huge congratulations to you, our first top scorer of the summer 2018 season. Now moving on to recap my predictions from last weekend. Again, another 5 for 5, but again, I overestimated Solo: A Star Wars Story. I said a 60% drop for that one, but it took a 65% hit, leaving it with $29.4 million. Then at number 2, it was Deadpool 2, which held on pretty well with $23.2 million. Number 3 went to newcomer Adrift with $11.6 million, followed by Avengers: Infinity War at number 4 with $10.5 million. And then finally, Book Club closing out the top 5 with $7 million. Moving into this new round of predictions now, the number 5 spot might be a close one, but looking at what current ticket sales are, I've got to give the edge to Avengers: Infinity War over both Hotel Artemis and also Adrift. But in the case of Adrift, I do think it could come pretty close. So for a comparison on that one, I'm looking at 2 2017 releases that opened with a pretty similar amount and also have some similarities in terms of content. First, Everything Everything, a young adult romance. Then on top of that, there's The Mountain Between Us, a survival romance. Looking at the percent changes those two movies saw in weekend 2, Everything Everything dropped 48.7%, and then The Mountain Between Us dropped 45.5%. So let's say Adrift sees a similar drop this time around. It could make another $6 million, but again, I'm going straight back to those ticket sales, and it is making me think that when you pair that with the fact that Infinity War's decline has been slowing down quite a bit, Infinity War could wind up topping Adrift, taking that number 5 spot with another $6.5 million. Now at number 4, I've got the new A24 release, Hereditary. This could be yet another difficult one to pinpoint this weekend. Ranges are just all over the place so far. In order to figure it out though, I'm looking at another A24 horror release, and that brings me to The Witch. That movie opened up with $8.8 million. But a couple of years later, A24 is a more well-known company. It's got a great track record. The Witch was not a summer release like Hereditary is. And then I'm factoring in that we are so far away from A Quiet Place, I do suspect that genre fans might be looking for a horror movie right about now. The thing that's stuck in my mind with this one, though, is the talk, the buzz, because I have heard this one is difficult to watch. By the time I'm recording this, I haven't seen the movie. By the time it goes up, I will have seen it, so I can comment on that further later. But right now, I'm thinking that, especially weekend 2, things could go one way or the other with this one, and I'm curious to see what happens. But first time around, I think there's enough positive buzz, so I'm going to go and look at The Witch's per theater average, which was $4,301 for its opening weekend. If I take that number and apply that to Hereditary's theater count, I come up with $11.5 million for Hereditary's first weekend in theaters. Now I've got yet another especially difficult one to call this weekend. Is Deadpool 2 or Solo: A Star Wars Story coming in at number 3? I do not want to overestimate Solo yet again, but I do have to give it the edge, so I'm putting Deadpool 2 at number 3 this weekend. Deadpool 2's ticket sales have been a little higher than Solo's recently, but I am thinking that playing the percent change game again with Deadpool is going to serve me well again this time around, so I'm going straight back to that first Deadpool movie, and in weekend 4, it dropped 44.9%. Then weekend 5, that percent change came up, but just a little bit, to 46.2%. So if I see a similar change in the Deadpool 2 numbers, we're looking at maybe a 48% drop, and that would leave Deadpool 2 with another $12 million. Now, of course, it is on to my number 2, and that is Solo: A Star Wars Story. Similar to Deadpool, I am going to run with something that I was doing last weekend, but I'm not going to change the percent change this time around. I was busy comparing Solo's numbers with X-Men: Days of Future Past, but for Solo in weekend 2, I lowered the percent change. This time around, keeping it right on point, and in weekend 3, X-Men: Days of Future Past dropped 54%. So if I apply that same percent change to Solo: A Star Wars Story, it's closing out its third weekend in theaters with $13.5 million. And now it is on to the big one of the weekend. Number one this time around belongs to Ocean's 8. With this one, the best comparison is that 2016 Ghostbusters movie. It is a female-led spin on a familiar franchise. It's a summer release, and it rocks an all-star cast as well. Ghostbusters, when it first opened up, it took $46 million that opening weekend, but its only really big competition was The Secret Life of Pets, and at that point, that movie was already in its second weekend in theaters. So when I think about that, I want to bring the number down for Oceans, but the question is, how far down do I need to bring that total? And when I think about the other three Oceans movies, none of them opened north of 40 million. Another reason for me to put it in the 30s. But then I consider positive buzz, good reviews, and the fact that the ticket sales so far have looked pretty good. So I'm actually going to give this one a $40 million debut weekend. It is recap time now. I've got Ocean's 8 topping the charts with $40 million. Solo: A Star Wars Story coming in at number 2 with $13.5 million. Then Deadpool 2 taking number 3 with $12 million. Hereditary coming in just behind with $11.5 million. And then Avengers: Infinity War closing out my top 5 with $6.5 million. All right, I leave it to you guys now. It is time to hit that comment section below. Share your top 5 predictions right there. And of course, don't forget, if you haven't already, go over to Fantasy Movie League, sign up for the Predictions with Perri League. I love doing it. I want to keep growing the league. So look in the description section of this video. I've got the URL and the password to sign up right there. Now it is Patreon shout-out time, and this goes to a trio of top-tier supporters who are also long-time supporters, and they are Dylan, Kavi, and Ryan. I have said thank you to you three many, many times over the past few months, but it's not going to stop. So you know what? Thank you yet again. It really does mean a lot to me that you signed up to begin with and that you're still here. You still have my back and want to help me keep all this going. Really, thank you guys. And another thank you to everybody watching this video right now. Please like and share it, and I'll check back next weekend for more box office predictions.